All right, our next speaker here today is Chris Cox. Let me tell you about him. 2013, the government got shut down.
Right. Okay, while he does this, I do want to make sure I'm keeping up with thanking. There's a lot of great people supporting the stream, and I appreciate it. Thanks to AM 615, as well as Jilted Passion and Lorimer. Deeper Shades of House, great to see you. As well as a gift and a sub from Naya Masters. That's 6. Space Robot 4000 has signed up. That is 7, putting us at 77. And really exciting, the coupon code MikePillow, which is a meme code, is off the charts. James Regal has just signed up at joinpakman.com. Matthew Michael has just signed up. Trish Brazil just signed up with the coupon code MikePillow50. And Jason Willoughby just signed up with the coupon code MikePillow50. That's a today-only code, okay? Joinpakman.com. Coupon code MikePillow50 saves you a lot. The super chats, I can't even keep up, but some of them were having me laughing out loud in my mind. Sunil says, sounds very QAnon-y. A soccer player just died on the field. Ooh, that's not good news. Okay, we'll get to that later. Terrible speech didn't even address banana prices. I know. It's like, I want to know, why are all fruits the price that they are? Why is kiwi down? Why are bananas up? I don't know. All right, let's continue. What is this guy wearing and how tall is he? Who is this guy?
It's a jumped out joint off a back road.
Why is his waist so low?
Thank you. So Chris Cox, I'm the founder of Bikers for Trump, and we exist for the sole purpose of seeing Donald Trump president.
Bikers
we've had our work cut out for us here lately. There's been an assault on decency. The left is coming after your Bibles, your bullets, and your babies. And if you don't stand up and make a difference now, it's going to be too late soon.
He should do a conversation with Ron Perlman.
Everybody out there right now, you are political activists for the fact that you're here today. You're not home watching on TV. You're making
Well, it's not on TV.
And that's what it's about. It's about standing up. Even when no one else does, you stand up.
You don't even know why you stand up.
You know.
But you do.
It wasn't that long ago. What made this country so great for we the people were the institutions that we put our trust in. The institutions that have consistently let us down here lately. You know, we think about the FBI for one. Okay?
Right.
The FBI and their misguided collusion investigation.
Yeah, this is low-rent Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy.
When did the FBI lose sight? When did they start protecting us instead of setting us up?
I might tweet that, actually. I like that. Let me see here.
Giuliani's house being invaded under the dark of night, okay? Meanwhile, we've had Antifa and Black Lives Matter burning down cities across the country. It's pathetic, and we've got to make a difference here. We look at the CDC under Fauci, with this plandemic, if you will, and how it sabotaged our last election, okay? There's no way that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, folks. No way. Donald Trump could he could be getting gas at a gas station, have more people show up and want to shake his hand.
Oh my God. Look at the Trump thing there on the stick.
We look at the fake news. When did it get so polluted? When did they start pushing their own narrative there, perpetuating it and trying to brainwash America? When did they stop reporting on the facts, the who, the when, and the where? And how are they surviving? You look at CNN has crashed. By the way, CNN, did you see what last year where they reported that I was dating both Diamond and Silk? I mean, come on. They have no clue. You're exactly right. You know, this voting system here and the shenanigans that are going on, God bless the hard work in Maricopa County, huh? Let's hear it for those guys. Unbelievable what's happening. And from there, I'm hoping they come here to Wisconsin or they go into Georgia. You know, We think about some of the work that the Bikers for Trump have done, and we've led the country in voter registration. Our bikers have apps on their phone.
These are the top biker voter registration people.
And it'll check your registration. And if you have any problems, we can fix it on the spot. We can register you on the spot. Or if it's a state that doesn't provide online registration, we can have that information sent to your doorstep.
Maybe states should just provide online registration, which they're against.
You know, another one of the accomplishments of the Bikers for Trump, there's a demographic that was untapped. It was almost impossible to get to. It took me 4 years to get in there with them. When I first got there, they thought I was a blowhard, but when I wouldn't leave, they started taking me serious. It's the Amish. The Amish who have traditionally never voted, who are told not to vote. But see, the Amish were never affected by these recessions. And when Donald Trump got in office, they had more 18-wheelers going out of Ohio and Pennsylvania than ever before.
It's the top biker app for registering Amish voters of all apps.
The toughest and the rowdiest demographic of all the bikers were the ones able to harness the Amish, the most religious and docile.
Docile? What the hell?
We were doing the math
Docile?
yesterday.
What are they, animals?
One county, Holmes
They've
County,
domesticated the
Ohio.
Amish.
A lot of people think the most Amish are in Pennsylvania. It's not true. They're in Ohio. That's why it started there. Wayne and Holmes County, 74,000 just in those two counties. So in Holmes County, with the work that the Bikers for Trump did, we added an extra 7,500 votes in just that one county, okay, for Donald Trump.
Not only did they get the Amish to vote, they got them to clean up after themselves. Like, what the hell is this guy talking
about?
about?
There are lots of counties across this country that are inundated and covered with Amish. So that's
it's just littered with Amish everywhere.
We figure that we added between 2 and
like an infestation of Amish, this guy would have you
Amish
believe.
votes. Did anybody remember on the news when in Philadelphia where they dropped an extra 200,000 or 300,000 votes there in the middle of the night, like 4 o'clock in the morning?
Is that true? The entire Amish population is
Conventional
270K?
wisdom is there. They didn't predict that the Amish would turn out like they did, and they had to cover their butts, and those machines were smoking, printing out those ballots.
Yeah, that's true. The total Amish population is 270. Many of those are kids.
Are not a security force. But
oh my
the
God.
Bikers also won't back down.
The Amish.
They'll stand right up. Now, while I'm saying, and I'm on this topic, if there's any Black Lives Matter, if there's any Antifa, you spin your first damn bullet in my chest, okay? Because we're not scared of you, and there'll be plenty of patriots to step up and take my place. I guarantee it.
Wow. Wow.
So when they started to try to impeach Donald Trump there in that last little misguided... that
escalated quickly, effort, yeah.
We started the Draft Donald Trump 2024 campaign.
Yeah, who turned down this event?
We'd like to see him here in 2021. But we've got over 200,000 signatures, I believe, at this point. If anybody would like to sign it, bikersfortrump.com. You can sign that petition very easily. It's the only thing on that page. And we'll be presenting these signatures to the President, Donald Trump, very soon.
The President, Donald Trump.
You know, when we look at these elections...
You have to clarify.
I'm from the great state of South Carolina, and we have 6 of our 7 congressional members are Republican, our governor's Republican, and our 2 senators are Republican.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we don't have problems.
Right. No, in
Tom
fact,
Rice
it's
there
because
in
of it.
the Myrtle Beach area who voted for impeachment. Okay? I'll be heading back to South Carolina to throw a rally in Myrtle Beach with the bikers, and we're gonna serve fried rice, because that's what we expect to do to Tom Rice. We're gonna fry him.
I'm actually really good at making fried rice. I've got a great recipe.
Got another female representative that went on.
The one thing I've tested with, the thing that's tough with fried rice is, I found that if the toasted sesame oil is a key thing with fried rice. I used to do sesame oil and butter. The butter flavors it too much, and it takes away from the sesame oil. So now I do a mix of sesame and a neutral oil like canola. Has dramatically scaled up my fried rice.
In these elections across the country is special interest groups. Groups like Club for Growth Action and Prosperity for America. Prosperity for America is run by the Koch brothers. They give money to Democrats and Republicans.
The toasted sesame oil is the key. Absolutely.
So when they get on board and say that they get behind
day-old rice, no
30
doubt.
or 40 candidates with a couple $1 million each, okay?
I'm with you.
Say
I'm
that
with you.
only 15 of them win. Now we've got the Club for Growth, Prosperity for America, which are tied to the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are calling policy shots now in the House of Representatives.
Right.
Okay? They are deep embedded into the fabric of our political system. And we've got to get rid of those guys if we're going to clean the swamp. And we hear the president talk about cleaning the swamp, but until we get rid of that Washington money polluting these congressional and these Senate races, we're not going to be able to do it. Because when they give these millions of dollars, then they've got their hooks in these freshman candidates, and then boom, they're calling shots because they owe favors. We should not be allowed to give candidates money until after a primary. Okay? That money pollutes elections. That money prevents other candidates that may be qualified from having their messages get out there. Well, better late than never.
That was like a single propeller plane, wasn't it? That's not a flyover.
So that's what we got to do, folks. When you're watching these candidates here in the state, and if you're in your prospective state, look and see who's giving them money. You may like them, but then you see Prosperity for America, Club for Growth giving them money. That's the Koch brothers that be pulling their strings. So
Koch brothers are bad now, I guess, right?
You've got to be informed. We can't rely on mainstream media. They would rather our country crash than prosper because of their narrative, because they're so warped. They're snowflakes and rainbows and cupcakes, and they just don't get it.
All right.
So I haven't really ever been introduced people talking about that 2013 event. So in a nutshell, so the government shut down in 2013 under Barack Obama, which I was offered later. They wanted to put one of those little yellow ribbons on my neck for the work I did, and I didn't want Obama touching me after he just had his hands around Michelle.
Okay.
So I turned it down. It might have helped me last year in my congressional race if I'd have had that from a Democrat, but I'd rather not had it, and they knew it, and I made it very clear. Because you see, folks, again, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Nice line.
And to me, the bikers for Trump, it's about an open channel of communication.
Is it possible this guy's racist? Like, maybe?
Your job's to bring people to the Lord, okay? Well, the preacher does not measure his life at the end of each sermon. He measures it at the end of his life, right? How many people did I lead to God over my life? How many people can you lead to conservative movement over your life? And the way we do it is through our example. It's through that open channel of communication. It's where people can look and say, what makes you tick? Why do you believe the way that you believe? And then you can back it up with fact, the fact that matches with the example that you set. And that's what people will pay attention to. Because most of Americans they're not informed.
Yeah, that's true.
They need to be informed. When we think about this election and how we go to bed and Donald Trump's up by millions of votes, and then we wake up and we're all just bewildered.
Wow.
Okay? That's a hard one to swallow. But yet, mainstream media and the Democrats mitigate this political climate through innuendo, allegation, circumstance, a friend who heard it from a friend. They read things on bathroom walls and then they call for investigation.
That's Democrats who do that?
Don't you think that we deserve some answers what happened on November 6th? We certainly do. So I was telling you, so the government shut down, and I was in Washington, D.C. I'm an artist. I'm a chainsaw artist. I was there on an art show. And
chainsaw.
so I knew there was nobody out there.
Oh,
so
man.
I filled my backpack up. I had a football, frisbee, my beach cruiser. I thought I was going to see a bunch of patriots out there. And when I got out there, I was the only one. It's hard to throw the frisbee to yourself. So I was just patrolling the grounds, making sure nobody spray painted, because it was only like a year before a Chinese woman had spray painted or threw some green paint on Lincoln.
Oh, a Chinese woman. Oh, okay.
Somebody wrote the N-word in red paint on the front of the Lincoln Memorial. Years before that, someone went in and poisoned a bunch of the trees there, the cherry blossoms. And so I thought my job was just going to be to have my cell phone, make sure that nobody was going to vandalize it.
Right.
And then on the third morning, I'm walking back to my car, and when I got to the trash can that leads into the wall there,
Someone had put a recyclable item in the trash can. It was horrible.
My step-uncle's on there, and I'm sure many of your relatives are on there. The trash can had overflowed, and there was like 2 trash cans beside it. And I'm talking about spit cups and diapers and rotten tomatoes and oranges and apples, and it was nasty. So
mangoes?
I didn't do anything. Halfway home, I was staying in Occoquan. Halfway, I felt ashamed. I went to Walmart, got a bunch of trash bags, bought a dolly. I went back, and that's when I became, instead of security, I became the janitor. And it wasn't 700 trash cans a day, but it was about 700 total. So I would just remove it from the property because we had media from around the world taking pictures.
Is it interesting to talk about how trash is dealt with at a park?
Like about a block away, I had a big mountain of trash. And then the Bedouins were coming in.
Bedouins?
A week or 10 days later, so I guess about 13 days into it.
Did he say Bedouins?
I got a lawnmower out there, a little push mower. I got
like Israeli Bedouins were there?
Memorial, which is a pretty big field, and they came and they wanted to. They took it from me, and they were going to write me a ticket, this, that, and the other. But by then, someone had went by and they took
veterans,
tweeted it around the world in like 45 seconds, and it's quite an experience. So I stuck around when it was done, and I petitioned Congress and explained to them that we should not allow these memorials to just go wayward if the government shuts down. So I devised a plan that would allow veterans to come up and take care of it. A plan that would allow the Boy Scouts of America to
Is this
take care
basically
of our
about
national
trash
parks.
management? Like, what are we talking about here?
We call it the Memorial Militia.
What on
I was
earth?
later able to convince Congressman Darrell Issa to help me with the framework of the bill. And we named it the Monuments Protection Act. I had it introduced with bipartisan support as a citizen legislator. The bill reads that the Secretary of Agriculture and the Secretary of Interior will enter into agreement with
Bikers against trash bags, or for them, I don't know.
Continued operation of an open-air war memorial, public lands, or parks during a lapse of appropriations or for any other reason. And I was really proud of that.
Listen, if the militias wanted to do trash rather than walk around with guns, I'm all for it. If they're willing to replace the guns with trash bags, we should cheer that.
Communities in Washington, D.C., and South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia as a result of that. And when Donald Trump started running, he said 2 things that got my attention. The first thing he said was radical Islam. And I'm like, hell yeah, we don't hear politicians saying those words, do we?
I was like, hell yeah.
Then he said something like putting America first. And then I knew right then that was a man for the job. See, we didn't
hell yeah,
elect
brother.
a politician. We elected a businessman with the work ethics of a farmer, and he did one hell of a job.
Who do you think this guy is most racist against?
He's a fine and he's a decent man with a decent family, and he worked for
like for whatever reason, I think deep down he may hate Jews the most.
And he cares about each
I don't know why I get that feeling.
That's on the other side as well. He was often criticized for trying to give us an equitable balance with these countries across the world, and the media would chew them up and spit them out. Now they remain silent as Biden bumbles around the White House and can't form sentences and slips and falls. If Donald Trump almost slipped one day, and it was mainstream story of the day, we had Joe Biden fall 3 times going up the same set of stairs, and we didn't hear a word about it, did we?
What?
That shows you, folks, that we have got an assault on decency. It's led by the mainstream media, and we've got to start pushing back. So let me give you a couple examples how you can push back.
Please.
Say you live in an area like me in South Carolina. We've got one of the most liberal papers in the country there, the Low Country, the Post and Partisan. Okay? So what we've devised is we're going to start finding out who's advertising in these papers, because these papers have to pay their bills.
Weren't they against this strategy when people did it to Fox News?
Do you really stand for this ideology? Do you stand for them perpetuating this Democrat narrative?
This is what they opposed when people did it to Tucker.
If not, stop advertising there.
Cancel
Because
culture,
it
wow.
leads us patriots to believe that you condone this behavior. We got to hit them where it counts. We got
The crowd's confused because they were like, Tucker was telling me this is bad, you know?
What can they do to us that they haven't already done and already going to continue to do? They don't like us. They don't like us because we embrace the Constitution, the greatest document in the world, the Bill of Rights.
Documents.
You know, there's a lot of us out there that haven't had an opportunity to serve our country. But right now, folks, you have an opportunity to serve your country.
Right.
To serve your country by standing up to the radical left and to demand the answers to these questions that we have.
What questions?
Why can't we find these ballots? You know, when you vote, you own that vote for 22 months. We own those votes that they're trying to keep us from. What, they showed up in Arizona with 100 attorneys? Who shows up with 100 attorneys if they have nothing to hide? Go figure.
Any day Trump's going to be reinstated, guys, right?
You know, the bedrock of this country is fortifying your household, giving your family a better opportunity.
What?
It's for the men and women who go to work every day.
Fortifying your
so
household.
They can give their family that opportunity. That's the new Republican Party, and that's the party of Donald J. Trump. And we've got to encourage him. Whether or not Donald Trump runs again, or and if he's not reinstated, which we all hope he is, and if he's not, it's a travesty.
There it is.
He'll certainly be helping us decide who does.
There it is.
You know, when we look across the country, we see the
Reinstated.
liberal leadership that's calling the shots. You can look at, without even knowing it's a Republican or a Democrat governor there, you can tell who it is. Look at Ron DeSantis and the work that he's done in Florida. Let's hear from Ron DeSantis, folks. He says, the hell with those masks. Open those schools. Open those restaurants. You know, we think about the Democrats, and they're there for the lower income, right? And they're not going to raise taxes. But you know how they raise the taxes on the lower income? Look at the price of petroleum now for gas.
Yep. Started under Trump, demand-based.
So if you're a lower-income family and
economic
you drive
recovery.
50 to 60 miles a day between
So
the two
lame.
of you, at the end of the year, you've spent over an extra $2,000, okay? So these Democrat policies under Biden are trickling down to the same people that voted for him. So we got to wake them up. We got to explain to them in common sense things that are hitting their pockets. We got to talk to them about their pocketbooks. That's what's.
Is he suggesting price controls on gas?
They do want to give their family a better opportunity and a better life. They're just confused. So we got to share with them the facts that are going on. Going through Minnesota the other day, I paid $1, I think, $3.29 in gas and diesel. I was paying $1.69 last year and a half ago. Okay?
Because nobody was driving anywhere, dude. People were trying to get rid of oil as quickly as they could.
We're in the breadbasket of America right now. Okay? When these farmers get hit, you're going to start feeling it in your milk, and your eggs, and your bread, and your cereal.
I felt Trump in my cereal this morning. I admit that. That's true.
Folks. It's all going up. We look at the assault on these infrastructures that are coming in, and now the meat is shut down, or they're having a hard time with the meat. Remember, they shut the pipeline down.
Biden wants to spend on infrastructure.
They're practicing, folks. They're practicing for when they try to sink us. And we need answers. And you need to start saving your money and stacking it away, because I'm not so sure the bank's the best place to put it.
Here we go.
You need to start saving, folks.
Yeah, this is like a sovereign
Got some rough
citizen
times ahead
type.
of us. We need Donald Trump back in office. You know, when you're out there and you're looking for your news.
I was kidding, by the way. I don't eat
Eric
cereal.
and Don Jr.
People are worried I don't
make
eat
a lot of
cereal.
sense when they're talking.
Other than my occasional magic
They speak
spoon.
in such a way that just anybody can understand them. And it's music to my ears when I see them. And I try to get my friends to listen to them all the time because they're very informed.
I'm investing in
A lot of
pastrami.
good things have been able to happen to me as being starting Bikers for Trump. I've been in a position to take my mother to 4 White House Christmas parties as my date. So that was quite a thing. I lost a couple girlfriends along the way when I chose to take my mom.
Okay.
But It's okay, because, you know, the one thing that never changes, that's mama and your love for mom. And speaking of mom, our patriot over here, Mike Lindell, he came to my hometown in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina on Mother's Day, and we had a rally, and he blew the doors off of it. They told me we could never pull anybody on Sunday on Mother's Day. Well, nobody ever tried to throw a rally with Mike Lindell either on Mother's Day.
Right.
Because, this little area, he put over 800 people in there, and it was amazing. And the man stuck around and shook everybody's hand, and he's just very personable. And we just can't say enough about Mike Lindell. And I'm hoping we got some Mike Lindells out there in that crowd. And, you know, he's going to get mad at me when I get off because, you know, he likes to keep his message on point, but you know, I've been able to draw a source of inspiration. If you look over here next to our booth, he's got a booth. He's got a book over there that talks about his life.
Right.
And as I read the book, I'm reading it for the second time because I had earmarked.
It's just so good.
Go back and read again.
It's just chock full of good
Because
advice.
He puts it out there. And you know, when you measure a man or a woman, I think that one of the best measurements is the humility and having none. Okay. Having the humility to just to tell it like it is. He talks in his book about how the drug dealers had an intervention. Okay, what drug dealers do that? I'll tell you, drug dealers that saw so much potential in a person that they couldn't stand it anymore.
Right. The drug dealers weren't willing to sell Mike Lindell drugs because he was going to do too much good if he could get off the drugs.
Mike Lindell to the patriot that he is today.
That's amazing.
And he's a source for inspiration for a lot of people, including me. And he spends his own money on it.
Mike,
okay?
stop buying drugs from
He
me.
doesn't raise money, he spends his own money.
You've got too much potential.
And that says a lot about people because everybody's got a special relationship with the money in their bill folder. The money in his bill folder is like orphan. He spends it. He puts it out there. He helps people.
It's like chlorophyll, he said?
Couldn't have been more proud to have him there at my old campaign headquarters. He's just quite a guy. You know, now we look at that assault on decency I was talking about with fake book, you know. Did
he say assault on the EFIS pitch?
Thousands of our members. I think we're around.
What the hell is this guy talking about?
A million. They shadow ban us. They take us off. But Mike Lindell's given us a new voice, a new way to reach people. And we need to get on this Frank speech, and we need to make that the number one platform in the country.
There's nothing on it. You can't access a damn thing on it.
One of my favorite things is, you know what one of the only rules is? You can't take the Lord's name in vain.
Right.
How about that? And
I'm just going to briefly mute this because I do want to make sure everybody's getting a thank you who's been supporting the stream. Thanks to Suicide Kings for the Twitch sub. I very much appreciate that. You're number 82 today. Also, thank you to Ali Sorensen, who just signed up at joinpakman.com, new member number 83. We have a one-day coupon code. It's MikePillow50. MikePillow50. Check this out. He's throwing T-shirts. Low rent Ron Perlman throwing merch into the crowd. Do something good with this.
Thank you, Chris. Chris Cox, thank you.
Use the coupon code MikePillow50 on my website. All right, there goes Chris Cox.